It is time for the Drew Yari Show. Drew Yari.
Hello.
Hello there.
What's up?
Kind of getting. I think I'm getting sick.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, my nose is stuffy. My throat's full of phlegm. So, yeah, the usual. But what are you up to? How you been?
Sorry, I forgot to turn off Dynamite. Hangman's in the ring with Swerve doing the last promo at the end of the show. But anyway, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Nothing new. Just same old, same old.
Yeah, I've been off since Saturday, and today's the last day until I have to go back to work tomorrow.
And you're getting sick.
Yeah, probably with all the moving, because like since Sunday, I was cleaning out the room to make way for a new bed.
Oh, okay, I understand.
And then yesterday we finally put the new bed in.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow we're waiting for the bed frame to come in, so that way we can just set that up and get everything we need in this room. So currently on the new bed, it's bigger. It's a queen size.
Yeah,
it's bigger than our old bed. Our old bed was a full size, but yeah, just the past 5 days, it feels like they've just came and went. The Rumble came and went. The Vince stuff, kind of came. Well, I mean, it hasn't went. There's still legal stuff kind of currently happening, but
it came a lot, if you know what I'm saying.
It came. He also shit a lot, apparently, which is insane.
Jesus,
but we will talk about that. Yeah, just everything else, the huge. We're going to talk about the Rumble, of course. We're going to talk about Vengeance Day. That's this Sunday, which is weird because we were used to Saturday pay-per-views. CM Punk news, ratings, of course, the Vince McMahon stuff. I think I already mentioned, and then Vince, cutting ties with WWE, Big E news, and more on this day in wrestling history shit. I will say one thing. I mean, we can just skip SmackDown, because more important things than SmackDown happened in the past week. I will say this: I missed the last hour of Raw because I had to do more cleaning in this room, but I kind of know what already happened. The main event was Drew and Sammy. Missed NXT because we were putting the bed in. From what I heard, I missed a pretty good show. Everything else is seems kind of like more important than the shows, other than the fallout. But let's talk about it. So, welcome to the show, people. It is Wednesday. It's the experience. We are back. We are back in action. We're back in the saddle. I think I'm getting sick. I hope not. But you already know me. I'm Drew, and with me, as always, is the man himself,
Justin from Spinebuster Tees, SpinebusterTees.com.
So, it's been a week. Last week we were talking about the Rumble. We were talking about...
week. Hey, it's been a fucking hellstorm.
It has been, like you said, a hellstorm or a shitstorm for WWE in the past week. Last Sunday we were just talking about the Rumble. We were talking about, what we thought about the Rumble, how hyped you were. We had no idea the shitstorm that was about to happen the very next day. And I mean, we won't be too detailed about it because I don't think there's anything else we can really add to the gross, disgusting shit.
I do want to just preface at the top of the show here because there's been a couple of creators who have been sent certain things by WWE. Anything that me or Drew says here tonight is based off of our opinions on the information given so far. We're not making anything up or anything. We're only taking the facts that are known at this time coming from the lawsuit, the 67-page lawsuit, and we're basing our opinions off of those off of those facts. So I want to heavily emphasize that because I know WWE. I mean, I doubt it. You know, we're a little small podcast, but you never know. You never know. WWE is heavily looking into podcasts like this for any type of legal ramifications. So again, these are opinions.
Right.
We're not saying that these are facts as far as some of what our opinions are. So
exactly. So last Thursday, the news came out that Vince McMahon, who had been the long-time chairman and former chief executive of World Wrestling Entertainment, was being sued for sex trafficking accusation from a woman. I'm just going to go by her last name, Mrs. Grant, who had put out, what'd you say, like a 67-page article or 67-page?
It's a 67-page. It's a 67-page legal disclosure.
Right. Which it's already been covered.
Lawsuit. Well, why do I say legal? Lawsuit. So 67-page
lawsuit.
Sorry.
Which consisted of alleged leaked, and I say alleged because me and Justin talked about this over text, where I showed him the text, and I'm just going by your words, where you said now she has to prove that was actually Vince.
Well, what I said was,
or the text came from Vince. Yeah,
right. Because it just says Vince. Like anyone can change. Now, I will say this: after further, because you texted me like literally like an hour after this happened. If this was already in the lawsuit itself, I'm pretty sure WWE has already, did that investigation already to prove that it was Vince. So.
Exactly. Which, again, we don't need to read it on here, but just kind of give you the rundown of what these texts consist of. Vince just saying some very gross, saying some very freaky things that, are very misspelled, but come to find out it might just be him using voice text, involving him saying, you need 3 black cocks in all your holes. I'll just leave it at that. You've probably heard a billion times. I know Cornette talked about it. DTKC talked about it. Wrestling Soup went into in-depth detail talking about it for a whole show.
Well, everyone fucking talked about it. I mean, from your Fightfuls, to your Denise Salcedo's, to your, Brian Alvarez's and Dave Meltzer's and JD from NY's. Everyone's talking about this story. Right. Anything that we say here ain't gonna be fucking different at all.
Right. So last Thursday, and I'm on the New York Times, the lawsuit filed on Thursday in U.S. District Court in Connecticut accuses Mr. McMahon of trafficking the employee Janelle Grant, as well as physically and emotionally abusing her. The graphic complaint, which also named John Laurinaitis, a former WWE executive, and the company itself as defendants, says that Mr. McMahon and Laurinaitis had once taken turns raping Miss Grant, among numerous other allegations. Mr. McMahon eventually pressured Miss Grant to sign a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, in exchange for $3 million. According to the complaint, but paid her only $1 million. The lawsuit also alleges that a number of high-ranking WWE employees and board members who were not named in the complaint were aware of Mr. McMahon's behavior, raising questions about who knew what and when. And in a statement I guess we kind of fast forward to the next day. The next day, Vince McMahon resigned from his role with WWE TKO Holdings. In a statement released after his resignation, Mr. McMahon called Mrs. Grant's lawsuit a vindictive distortion of the truth and said he looked forward to clearing his name, but he said he had decided to resign out of respect for TKO, WWE, and their employees and wrestlers. And this just kind of goes back to 2022 when the allegations are coming out about a paralegal that kind of had a similar story. And I believe the Miss Grant, that was kind of like a story that was kind of, it came up and then I think it kind of came up and then it came and went, but now it's back and there's more detail allegedly to it. But yeah, just this kind of came. Obviously, you know, this goes without saying. This came at a bad. This is crazy timing, you know, because Wednesday we were just talking about, you know, WWE signing a deal with Netflix, but Raw on there, and then The Rock coming in.
Well, this was deliberate.
Yeah, deliberate.
Yeah, this is completely deliberate in my opinion.
Just explain why.
Well, I mean, you just said it yourself. The Netflix deal came out. You also, with The Rock being on the board of you know, the TKO, and you know, to me, I think that the releasing of this, I think it was very deliberate. I think they wanted to, you know, put a, you know, the plaintiff in this case wanted to put a black guy on WWE, and they have every right to do so. But you mean to tell me that this couldn't come out a week later or a week earlier? You know what I mean? Like, but you know, is what it is. I just think the timing is very curious. But again, at the end of the day, like, you know, she has every right to do what the hell she wants, because
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I still think it's deliberate at the same time.
I mean, it also kind of put a black eye on the weekend coming up, because, you know, again, we were hyped up for the Rumble, but now the only thing people can really talk about is, you know, what was going on with Vince. So it kind of, as a wrestling fan, it kind of sullies things, and it really does put a black eye on wrestling. And also, you know, more things coming out with the report is that Brock Lesnar was kind of involved with it, or not really kind of, but the story being that
he wasn't named. So again, that's
right.
That's Drew's opinion. He wasn't named, but
allegedly.
But if we see, you know, who they were talking about, former UFC, you know, former UFC heavyweight champion. I think they just used former UFC champion. It's a very, very short list. It's Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez, Ronda Rousey. There's the only three. I mean, ain't Ken Shamrock.
No, it sure as ain't Cain Velasquez or Ronda Rousey. So, that's why I'm going to say allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly. I'm sorry. I'll say allegedly. Right. So allegedly, it was Brock Lesnar, and allegedly, Vince apparently sent her to him to coerce him into signing back with the company. And allegedly, Brock Lesnar was texting, or let's just say this UFC champion was texting this woman saying, I want you to send a video of you peeing, and then called her a bitch. So, and this, not to fast track, but Brock was taken off the Rumble this weekend. But go ahead.
Yeah, but also as well, like also part of the series of text messages and things that are finding out that the Vince McMahon was using dildos naming after wrestlers.
Which that's just.
I'm sorry. Look. I'll say this. This whole thing's disgusting. I feel bad for Miss Grant. I really do. No woman should be subjected to anything like that. At all. You know what I mean? And like, kind of like what happened, like he was using the toys and like she was like getting like bruised from it and getting hurt from it.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's completely dark and disturbing, messed up.
Mm-hmm.
However, the fact that Vince named sex toys after wrestlers, I'm sorry, that's hilarious to me. I'm sorry. It's hilarious. It's in a very, very wrong way. Kind of like how I talk about, you know, Tony Khan. He's funny for the wrong things. This is funny for the wrong things as well. You know what I mean? Just like, I have the total package, Lex Luger. You know what I mean? Just, God, man. You know, and you know, also as well, Vince McMahon defecated on the woman's, you know, poor woman's head, allegedly, on the poor woman's head. You know, what did he say when he did that? Was he like, oh, yeah, oh, here comes some bad news, Brown. He's got shit. Yeah, I mean, but yeah,
I hate to joke about this, but that's just insane. That's too much.
It sounds like it's something that's like you can't even script this in a movie. The only type of movie you'll probably see this in is like a comedy. And I'm not saying that this is a comedy situation, but like you won't see this in a drama or action movie or a horror movie where they're naming, sex toys after things. Like, if it's a horror movie, here's Freddy Krueger, here's Jason Voorhees, here's Chucky. Like, you'd never see that. You never hear of like a drama of someone shitting on someone's head. It's more of a comedy thing. You know what I mean? So, and even in that, I still don't believe Hollywood can write something this, out of whack. So, the whole story about this overall is damning, and the one thing I will say about this, again, people deserve the right to feel how they feel about this. Totally understand it. If you feel a certain way about it, I understand. I just hate, and I'm gonna call it out because that's the person I am. I hate the fake people who are calling this out and being like, oh, they should be asking questions about this during the media scrum, which we did, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get into it. Or like, oh, Triple H needs to be fired because he knew. How did Triple H know anything about this? How did, someone like Nick Khan knowing about this? How did Ari Emanuel know the complete details of these stories, right? I'm more than sure that they found out the details of this lawsuit when it got first released by the New York Times. So, people are asking for Triple H's job and things of that nature, and I was on a Twitter Circles event that Friday night, and there was just the fake people on there just being all like, and Grant, the guy that was writing it, he's pro AEW, right? So I didn't take that into consideration because he didn't mention anything about AEW during his. He would be like, well, Tony Khan doesn't mention anything, but like at the same time as well, you can tell that someone like that was enjoying the downfall of this situation for WWE. And you're like, oh, if you're not asking questions at the media scrum about this, you're a coward. What are they going to say? And what did Triple H say? Triple H couldn't really say anything about it because he's not on the board. He doesn't know. Like, what do you want him to say? Do you want him to say, like, oh, yeah, fuck my father-in-law? Like, no. He's there to do business. He pulled a Tony Khan. He actually pulled a Tony Khan there during the media scrum. And, it's, I mean, at the end of the day, though, I know I'm rambling on here, but just at the end of the day, if you were offended by this, obviously everyone's offended by this, but just don't start to become fake over it. Be offended. Feel for this woman. Don't try and make it out like, oh, well, if you knew about it, or not even if you knew about it, but if you weren't close to Vince McMahon, you need to be fired, where if you knew about it or not. What? You know what I mean? They're going to end up firing like some people who are close to Vince McMahon who don't even know about it. And we know how we feel about, Bruce Pritchard as far as like a writer or whatnot. I don't want him to be fired for something that he had no involvement with. I want him to, if I want to let go, I want to be let go because what he's contributed to writing on TV is not enough. It's a detractor to what they're doing. But at the end of the day, though, people are like, oh, fire everyone close to Vince McMahon, get a clean slate. And I get it. It's a business. You got to do what you got to do. But there's better ways of going around it. And at the end of the day, you can't just fire certain people who were not in the know about it at all, right? That's like, fine, oh, I'm going to fire, Vince McMahon's secretary for 25 years or 30 years or whatever the case may be. She's 78 years old and she works at Time Towers. Let's say she didn't know anything about it. Is she going to get fired because of it as well? So, I don't know. I digress, man. There's a lot more stuff we can talk about this, but I know we only have so much time.
I mean, I kind of feel differently with the clean sweep thing. You're right. Like, who else really knew about this? Like, we can't just sit here and say, Triple H automatically knew about it. Like, how is Hunter I say Hunter like I know him. Hunter, Paul, is supposed to know what his father-in-law is doing at Titan
So
Tower.
I'll interrupt one more time, and I'm sorry, I forgot this point here. So when this happened, right? This happened in apparently 2022, right?
Uh-huh.
Guess what Triple H was doing during that time?
He was on a sabbatical because of his heart attack.
Thank you.
Also, can I add something to that? Do you think
for sure.
Do you think let me throw in a scenario here? Do you think that heart attack was caused because Triple H maybe heard rumblings?
No, I think it was a hard. I don't want to speculate. This is my opinion. Again, my opinion. This is my opinion. I'm gonna say it one more time. My opinion. Mm-hmm. I think it was because of what Triple H, what Vince did to NXT, turning NXT 2.0.
That too.
And just everything coming out of that. I think that's what caused the episode.
Yeah, stress, because what causes a heart attack? Stress. But again, scenario. I'm not saying Triple H knew something or even saw something, but do you think just the added stress of, like you just said, Vince taking his baby and changing it into his own vision, plus Triple H maybe hearing things and going, fuck this, and then has that heart attack?
Possibility, yeah.
Same thing with Stephanie. Like, maybe
Stephanie stepped away. Vince stepped down. Stephanie came back. Vince came back. Stephanie left.
And also another thing is that when Vince came back, Triple H was on the committee that voted against Vince coming back.
Him, Stephanie, and Nick Khan, exactly.
And again, I'm sharing alleged stories, but Shane, another example. Shane and Vince had a falling out because Shane apparently knew something, and that's why Shane left.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. This to me is maybe only a small percentage of what we could be hearing later on this year, possibly.
Tip of the iceberg, like, again, another story. Paul London on the Rene Dupree's podcast talks about how Vince used to harass Ashley Massaro. And, Paul used to date Ashley Massaro, so of course he's going to side with, his then girlfriend at the time. So just, we're going to hear more stories, I can imagine. We're going to hear more, ex employees. I mean, not just what's her name, Rita Chatteron, and the salon employee. We're going to hear more ex divas, more women's wrestlers, talk about it. And also another thing, I heard another podcast, make a good point on was, Vince's fitness instructor. Like, he was involved in it too.
Yeah.
And the threesome that involved the defecating in question. So, let me just bring up a tweet, because since you brought up Bruce Pritchard. So Ronda Rousey tweeted, I think the day of or the day after. Or no, she tweeted on the day of the Rumble, actually. She put, Bruce Pritchard is basically Vince's avatar. If he's still around, Vince still has a hand in the business. Vince was still running things through Bruce when he was quote-unquote gone before. We kind of heard something like that when Vince had left the first time. And
well, yeah. I mean, you didn't have to, fucking know. I came on here and said many, many times, I'm like, if you think that Vince doesn't have a say or control or anything, I said this at the end of 2022, if you remember. Yeah. And remember, I was like, hey, this is more of a Vince thing. Triple H wouldn't do this. Why are we all of a sudden doing this on TV? This feels like a Vince McMahon. What happened to this storyline here that Triple H was doing? You didn't need anyone,
You're
or
right.
You didn't need anything. You just need to watch the show. If you watch the show, you will know, that's a Vince thing, that's a Paul Levesque thing, and you can determine the difference. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, what Ronda Rousey saying does have some merit behind it.
Which again, I'm fine with the idea of a clean sweep of Vince's people. Because you need to start over. And, one of those people involved is Bruce Pritchard, Michael Hayes, they got to go. Kevin Dunn left, and one of his reasons was because he was close to Vince.
So again, if you're going to let go of Bruce Pritchard due to you feel that Vince can still have some influence on the product via, internet, right? Or phone calls, and you have that feeling, okay, so be it. But if you're going to let Bruce Pritchard go because you think that if you're letting Bruce Pritchard go just because he was a Vince guy, and you cannot prove that he is having these conversations with Vince McMahon, I'm not for that, because again, I don't want to see people get let go, or I don't want to see people get let go due to the wrong reasons. If you have a legitimate reason to let someone go, let somebody go. If you're saying, hey, we're letting you go, Bruce Pritchard, because, we know that you're a Vince guy, and, we know that you're a Vince guy, and also, Paul Levesque is in charge of the storylines. But again, apparently, Triple H and Bruce Pritchard, they get along just fine. They get along just fine for what I've been hearing and reading and things of that nature. So if that's the case, and if Triple H sees Bruce as an asset in some fashion, then fine. But if they are going to let go Bruce Pritchard, again, to your point, it should be Bruce Pritchard. It should be, other guys like Michael Hayes, and other people who are very, very close to Vince, in that world backstage. I don't think there's a ton left back there, but, they should let them go at this particular point in time.
Right, which apparently that's the talk, is that TKO wants to do a clean sweep of anyone who was either, a part of it, or for the most part, Vince people. And I think, unfortunately, like you said, there might be some people that had nothing to do with it that were close to Vince. So
like this too. I know Triple H voted against Vince McMahon, but he's close to Vince, right? That's his son-in-law.
Right.
Does that mean Paul Levesque goes?
I think if you vote against Vince, you're not close to Vince.
You're still related. I know what you mean. Right. I'm just doing this for argument's sake. I don't think Paul Levesque is going to get let go. I don't think that's the case. I'm just taking it literally for what they say. They say, hey, if you're close to Vince McMahon, there's a chance that you may end up leaving. You know what I mean? Also Nick Khan. Close to work hand in hand with Vince for a little bit, right, before.
Nick Khan apparently was the one who kind of I think probably convinced Vince to resign. He was in charge of getting Vince out.
I don't know, man. You don't ever trust people in the corporate world.
No,
for what they say.
Period. Also Ari Emanuel is the one who took Vince out of creative and put Triple H there. So again. Kind of like what you just said.
It comes from the same guy. Ari Emanuel said we couldn't do this deal without Vince McMahon too. So, you remember they were on fucking CNN or where the fuck it was, or CNBC, and they're like, "Could this deal been done without Vince McMahon?" He's like, "No, absolutely not." So, again, don't ever trust anyone in corporate, right? I don't foresee at all anything happen to Nick Khan or Paul Levesque. I don't see anything happening to him.
Right.
What I'm saying is that, for what they're saying, I can't 100% rule it out that something like that can happen. You know what I mean? Because now, Endeavor TKO owns this, right? They own, WWE. You never know. When they mean clean house, they probably literally mean clean house. So I don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens over the next couple months and how they handle this.
Right. All right, so I guess we're done on that topic. So we can talk about the Rumble. Royal Rumble happened on the same weekend, actually, on Saturday. It was in St. Petersburg, Florida, at Tropicana Field on January 27th. There were 4 matches. The show was kind of long. It was 4 hours, which I was kind of hoping was maybe at least 3.5, but whatever.
Did it feel like 4 hours? It didn't feel like 4 hours to me.
It was weird. I mean, no, the pacing was fine. I will say this before we get into matches. It very much felt like a 2-match show because the Rumble matches were, to me, the only matches that seemed like they were important. I mean, because you knew Roman was not going to lose. You really didn't. And you knew Logan Paul was not going to lose. Granted, I thought that match was probably the better one of the wrestling matches. But we'll get into it. So, the 30-woman Rumble match was the first one on the card. Let's just go by... Oh, it has it right here. So, the entrants were, number 1, Natalya. Number 2 was the returning Naomi. So, good to see Naomi back. I was a little surprised they had her come out that early. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't. I mean, you gotta think about it this way. I mean, I didn't predict or anything, but once she came out, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Give her a full entrance, you know what I mean? Because, one of her biggest things is her entrance and her presentation or whatnot, right? And it got everyone hyped for the Rumble itself because it's like, oh, man, second entrance was a surprise. How many more surprises are we going to be getting tonight? So I thought that was a 100% perfect way to start the Rumble.
Which I was happy because I like Naomi. And she came out. And she got a big reaction, fans chanting "Welcome back," and she was crying. And again, I love Naomi. She left. I mean, I didn't agree with how she left, but she left. Went to TNA, got better, and now she's back in WWE. So good for Naomi. She lasted quite long. She was there until like
she broke the record. Not quite long. She broke the record.
Right. Number 3 was Bayley. Good seeing Bayley. Number 4 was Candice LeRae, which, snore. Number 5 was the TNA Women's Champion, or the TNA Knockouts Champion, Jordynne Grace. Which... Yeah,
and I just saw her 3 weeks ago here in San Antonio, so, it's good for her. When I went to the Brand Outlaw show, met her, very, very soft-spoken, sweet, talked to her for about a couple minutes, and just seeing her 3 weeks later, in Tampa, what I mean? Very, very happy for her. Very, very happy for her that she got that opportunity.
Right. I mean, it was nice seeing her. I mean, she looks like she's toned down a little bit as far as like body mass, because there was a point where she was like kind of uncomfortably big.
Well, she trained for bodybuilding competition.
Right. All right, that makes sense. Well, she's slimmed down, so she looks better, and she's gotten better. So, good for Jordynne. And she, again, another one, she lasted a lot longer than I thought she would. So, they made the TNA Knockouts Champion look better. Number 6 was Indy Hartwell. 7 was Asuka. Number 8 was Ivy Nile. Number 9 was Katana Chance. Number 10 was Bianca Belair. 11, Kairi Sane. 12 was Tegan Knox. 13 was Kaden Carter. 14 was Chelsea Green, who I thought was amazing in this Rumble, just solely due to the fact that she was just getting her ass beat, and she was just selling it. So I love Chelsea Green.
She is a fantastic, and I mentioned this many times already, she is a fantastic character worker. She can wrestle too. She can pull on some good matches when necessary. But man, this like, I don't see why Vince McMahon didn't see this in her the first time, because I knew this was here. You know what I mean? Where she can do the comedy, obviously, right? And she can also wrestle. Like, she has the opportunity, she's already getting popular already. But once they decide to take her seriously, she can be a fucking, main eventer, winning a women's championship. Maybe not this year, maybe next year if they decide to take her more seriously. But man, she's fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, like me and RJ, we kind of agreed that, and we said this countless times before. Like, of all the Triple H, signees or people that are brought back, she's probably been one of the better ones. Probably even the best one, because she's a great character. And like you said, she can wrestle. Like she actually has some good hits whenever she wrestles. So love her. I do want to see her as a women's champion one of these days. I think she'd be great. Number 5 is Piper Nevin. 16, Xia Li. 17, Zelina Vega. 18, Maxine Dupree. Oh, she's not good. 19 is Nia Jax. 20 is Shotzi. 21 is Becky Lynch. 22 is Alba Fire. 23 is Shayna Baszler. 24 was Valhalla, who came out, and then R-Truth came out because he thought this was the men's rumble. And then Valhalla got distracted, got thrown out, so that was it. 25, Mishin. 26 was Zoe Stark. 27 was Roxanne Perez from NXT. 28 was the debut of Jade Cargill, who looked like $1 million in this match.
She came out with a remix of her AEW theme too as well. So
yeah. I remember RJ pointed that out. Like, he was like, it sounds like her AEW thing. I'm like, yeah, it's probably it.
It is. It's very much like a remix of it. So probably a little bit more, I guess, upbeat if that's the case. But yeah, it's basically the same theme. Which I'm very much so cool with. Right.
And again, she looked like $1 million. Eliminated Nia Jax. Like, she just picks her up like she's a bag of a bag of kittens essentially, and just throws her out of the ring. So, again, looked impressive. She looks like a star. She already looks like a star after this match. 29 was Tiffany Stratton debuting on the Rumble, and apparently she's going to debut pretty soon in the main roster. So, and she looked like $1 million too. 30 was the returning Liv Morgan, who they were hyping it up because as soon as they got to 30, they kind of like delayed it, and then you get to the crowd and you hear a theme. So, I mean, again, I don't hate Liv Morgan. I think she's shown improvement in the ring. I don't love everything she does, but I don't hate Liv Morgan. I actually like Liv Morgan. So it's good seeing her back.
I'm a huge fan of her. Glad that she came back. Mm-hmm. I don't know why people were thinking of AJ Lee coming out. I don't understand. I don't understand why. I really don't understand why people thought AJ Lee was coming out, but you know, that's what people get for trying to hype up what they think is going to happen in their heads and being disappointed. And then when that last person comes out, like, oh god, oh man, stupid Liv Morgan. So people were like complaining about it on fucking Twitter, like always, whatever. But yeah,
I mean, that's the thing about these Rumbles is that when there's too many surprises, people complain. When there's not enough surprises, people still complain. So it's just like, I like the fact that this Rumble didn't have too many surprises because it showed you how much depth is in the women's roster. So there's a lot of good talent.
It's two things with this. Number one, they didn't have a lot of surprises. I mean, they had surprises, but not a surprise. But this is the most important thing. They didn't bring back any legends. So thank God there was no Kelly, no Lita, no Trish. It didn't need that. Right. It didn't need that at all.
Well, and Kelly was also pregnant, so good. Congratulations, sir. Yeah, just I was fine with this Rumble. I enjoyed it. I mean, there were some botches here and there, but for the most part, I liked it. Bayley ended up winning after eliminating Liv Morgan. Jade Cargill was one of the final 4 women, so that's surprising.
Final three women.
Final 3. I mean, final 4, final 3, whatever.
I was gonna mention Bayley for a second. Yeah, she pulled the Ric Flair. She pulled the Rumble 92,
which I actually watched that the day of because I've seen it before, and then I watched the day of. I'm like, yeah, this Rumble is actually really fucking cool.
It's to me, it's my favorite. Like,
yeah,
all the former world champions in there, and soon to be former world champions, just is staggering. Heenan and Monster on commentary make it like. Heenan is so
Lord, please let Ric Flair win, and I'll never do anything bad again.
And Monster's like, would you sit down? Like, it's the greatest. It's the greatest. It's the fucking greatest. But yeah, this women's Rumble I thought was better than the men's. For one, I got people saying, "Oh, this is the greatest women's Royal Rumble of all time." I wouldn't go that far, but it's up there. It's up there. But I mean, you got a small category to pick from, so it's not a lot. But I think it's one of the better ones for sure. But I don't know if I'll put it as the greatest. But still, I still thought it was very, very good, very well paced. Yeah, and the right person won. If it wasn't gonna be Bailey, I thought it was gonna be Becky, and at least one of them two women win. So I actually predicted Becky. You predicted Bailey. So kudos for you on that one.
Yep. One thing I'll say about Becky is that when she came out, she did the thing with Nia, and then afterwards it just felt like she kind of disappeared in the match. I don't know if that's just me that noticed it.
Nah, I don't. They didn't really see that. I thought she was involved for the most part. I thought honestly, I didn't think the Rumble really started to pick up until Becky got out there.
Right, and she got eliminated after Jade was swinging Naomi, and she got eliminated by Naomi's feet. So, right, but yeah, I really enjoyed this Women's Rumble. Again, I do think it was better than the men's because the men's seemed very predictable. And
both of these Rumbles, I will say, were very safe.
Right.
Like, they didn't try anything. They didn't do any risk. Now, safe is not bad. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but, safe is safe. Like, it can't be a great Rumble, or it can't be like a all-time Rumble if it's just safe. Sometimes you gotta take a little risk. So,
right, and again, sometimes predictable can be a good thing. It just depends how you do it. But the men's I didn't hate the men's, but I thought it was very predictable, and like you said, it was safe. Well, maybe not safe for one person, but we'll get to that. But that was the women's. Let's get to the next match after that. Oh, the women's was an hour and 5 minutes. So there you go. Next was the Fatal 4-Way for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns retained against AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton. I tuned out of this match at the beginning because, again, I know I just said predictable can be good sometimes, but in this case, Roman Reigns is already just past predictable to the point where it's just kind of boring at times, because 5 minutes into this match, I thought in my head, okay, it's just going to be everybody getting their shit in, and then Roman's just going to do the bare minimum, and then one of the Bloodline guys is going to come out, and Roman's going to win. And that's exactly what happened. Randy got his RKO's in, LA Knight got his blunt force traumas in, his Yaz in, and AJ got his phenomenal forearms in, and then Roman just stood around the ring and stalked his opponents and didn't sell anything. Well, I mean, he's kind of sold, but whatever. And, Solo came out and fucked with the match, and Roman still won. Luckily, AJ took the pin, so, LA Knight didn't get completely buried. Randy didn't get completely buried. AJ was the one that took the pin, and luckily AJ came out in tights this time and not pants. But Roman got the win. Again, very much, to me, kind of a snooze match. But what'd you think?
I mean, I thought the match was fine. I didn't feel as I don't feel the same way that you do. I didn't think it was a snooze match, but again, this was just a predictable match, run of the mill. I liked the callback to the spot where the irony, I should say, of Roman almost being pinned in a stacking position by AJ Styles. You know what I mean? Kind of what happened at WrestleMania a couple years ago with Roman Reigns stacking Edge and Daniel Bryan. So right. I like that spot there. So there was some good storytelling that was here in this match. Again, not a match I'm going to remember. I didn't think this was a great match. That was good. That was fine. The ending sucked. You know what I mean? But that's what you're going to get with Roman Reigns matches up until WrestleMania. You're going to get the entrance, you're going to get the sucky ending. So, but overall, I thought the match was entertaining. I thought it was good, and I thought all four looked good here in the match. So,
all right, next is you got the WWE United States Championship, Logan Paul and Kevin Owens, which ended in DQ. I thought it was a good match. I thought there was good storytelling with Kevin Owens selling the hand. He couldn't bring his cast in. So a lot of the match was Logan Paul working on the hand. And, again, good match up until the ending, which I will say was at least unique. But everything surrounding it I didn't like, because you had one of Logan Paul's cronies come out and try to fuck with the match, and then security takes a long time to throw him out. And then Austin Theory and Grayson Waller come out looking like they're about to throw him out too. And then Austin Theory hands Logan the brass knucks, to which I kind of groaned. But then Kevin Owens grabbed the brass knucks and hits Logan with it and goes for the pin, 1-2. And then the referee notices the knucks on Owens' hands and then calls a disqualification. So I will say again, it was a unique finish. Because I think if they just did the Logan Paul does the brass knuck shit again, or he cheats the win again, I would have been like, what the fuck, come on. But no, they did something unique, and they found a way to not bury Kevin Owens and obviously not bury Logan. So, but again, good match, just kind of mixed on the ending. But what'd you think?
Terrible ending, but I thought this was match of the night. Only 4 matches, but I thought this match, and I thought they worked very well with each other. They were, very hard hitting back and forth. Owens, he never really has a bad match. Logan Paul never really has a bad match. Man, I think Logan Paul's probably worst match was the one in the one in Saudi for the United States title against Ray. But outside of that, I mean, he's been worth every penny for WWE so far. So, not really much to say about it. I mean, both men weren't in the Royal Rumble either. So, yeah. I thought it was fine. I thought it was match of the night, but again, the ending was kind of lackluster.
Right. Now we're on to the men's Rumble. 30 men. We'll go in order. First was Jey Uso. Second was Jimmy Uso, so they had a nice little stare down, which I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's kind of like Demolition, and I think it was like the 1990 Royal Rumble when they first start off 1 and 2, so good callback to that.
Which I just like to how Jimmy just looked fucking psychotic, just staring at Jay like, yeah. Number 3 was Grayson Waller, who came out talking shit. 4 was Andrade, the returning Andrade El Idolo. Good to see him. Good to see him back in WWE.
Yeah, very good. I mean, you have to be a you may not know anything about wrestling if you didn't know that Andrade wasn't going to be back in WWE. So, and we predicted both, like, yeah, he's going to be in the Royal Rumble, like he's coming.
Which on Raw, he's now officially part of the Raw roster. So I would have liked him on SmackDown, but that's just me.
It's too many of the same talent over there. Let me his own guy on Raw.
Yeah, true.
And you know what this means, right?
When
Charlotte returns back from injury, she will be on Raw.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. And there's a video of her like spraying Andrade, like his body or whatever. So cool. Number 5 was Carmelo Hayes from NXT. So I mean, he had a pretty good showing on the Rumble, so good for him. Number 6 was Shinsuke Nakamura. I forgot to mention that Pat McAfee came back on Raw Rumble, and also on Raw he was announced as the Raw he's back with Michael Cole on the Raw commentary team, so that's good. Good to see Pat back.
And Wade Barrett is going to SmackDown with Corey Graves, which is interesting because Corey's going to now be play-by-play. I gotta see how that goes, man, because I don't know if I fully like that.
I said the same thing. I was like, they're both color guys. How is that going to work? But again,
that was the same thing I was saying to you about Pat McAfee. Like, Pat McAfee's the color guy. If he would have went to, let's say, SmackDown with Corey Graves, like, it's the same situation here. So, but I think I think Corey is just gonna, end up turning into the straight man, like Michael Cole. And I think he probably asked for this. You never know. He probably asked for this, like, hey, I want to challenge myself, and I kind of want to see what I can do. But Corey Graves and Wade Barrett, I'm pretty sure they're gonna do very, very well there. It's just gonna be kind of weird just hearing like Corey leading everything. But believe it or not, Corey Graves has been on commentary like with WWE for about 8 years now. That's a long time already. Like Jesus Christ, I can't believe Corey Graves been on commentary for 8 years already. So he has a ton of experience. So I'm pretty sure he'll do well.
Yeah, I got faith in Corey. I've always liked Corey. Number 7 was Santos Escobar. 8 was Karrion Kross. 9 was Dirty Dom. 10 was Carlito. 11 was Bobby Lashley. 12 was Ludwig Kaiser. 13 was Austin Theory. 14 was Finn Balor. 15 was Cody Rhodes, who got a grandiose entrance.
And that spot right there was perfect. Again, we were talking about this last week. I didn't want Cody coming off at, number 1, number 2, number 3. I didn't want to come out at the very end. This right here, number 15, right in the middle, perfect. And it ended up doing very well for him at the end of the day. So
no, you're right. You're right. Which is funny because last year he came out at 30. Now he's 15, so kind of half. Number 16, Bronson Reed. Number 17 was Kofi Kingston. Before that, Cody threw out Ludwig Kaiser, and then Gunther came out, and Gunther just had this look on his face like, what happened? Number 19 was Ivar. Number 20 was Braun Breaker, who is going to debut on the main roster pretty soon. Allegedly, he took Brock Lesnar's spot and eliminated everybody that Brock was supposed to eliminate. Allegedly. I do say allegedly. 21 was Omos. We see an Omos sighting, which is rare now these days. 22 was Pat McAfee, which I thought was fucking stupid.
Yeah, that was a waste of time.
Which is just like, you seriously couldn't get anyone from NXT. You couldn't get, I don't know, you couldn't get maybe like Nathan Frazier, for example. Maybe like...
that would be even more waste of time.
Or your boy...
I love Nathan Frazier. I love Nathan Frazier was showcase, but it's like, yeah, like...
Or what about... what about Vaughn? What about Vaughn?
Well, he would have won the whole fucking thing, man. They know better than that.
Exactly. But yeah, I just thought this was stupid as hell. 23 was JD McDonough, who got murked by Braun after he got eliminated by Jay. But yeah, Braun looked like a beast out there. He looked great. So, and he's going to SmackDown allegedly. 24 was R-Truth. 25 was Miz, which I don't know if Miz need to be in this match, but that's just me. 26 was Damian Priest.
Who would you replace him with?
I don't know. Just put in more NXT people. Put in Trick Williams.
I mean, but Miz has that storyline with, like, R-Truth and the Judgment Day.
I don't know. It's just, I know we just talked about we don't need too many surprises, but there's people in this match where I'm like, I don't know if they should have been in it.
Right. I think that did miss from this Rumble itself. I agree with you, but like Miz is, I mean, like he's been around for over 20 years. Like he's like a staple. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I kind of find it hard to replace the Miz in this Rumble. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of him. I'm just saying at the same time, it's like, it's kind of hard to replace someone like that. And also as well, you gotta think about it. It's not just because of the Miz. Miz knows how to direct people in the Rumble as well. Hey guys, your spot's coming up. And you know what I mean? So like, it's not just like, we know he wasn't gonna win, but I'm pretty sure he was in there to kind of coordinate like towards the end of the Rumble, like how things want to be and how things should go. But that's probably just me. I don't know.
You're right. I take back what I said. The Miz is great. I mean, there's one person in this Rumble, I think you might agree with me on, that probably shouldn't have been in it. 26 was Damian Priest. 27 was CM Punk. Baby. 28 was Ricochet. Why was Ricochet in this match?
Why wouldn't he be in this match?
But why was he in this match?
He had a chance to go to WrestleMania.
Yeah, but again, it's just, you had...
Who would you... Okay, so... Okay, you didn't say that about Carlito.
I'm fine with Carlito being it, because, like you said, Carlito had a storyline going with Escobar.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Ricochet had... I mean, has Ricochet been hurt? Because I haven't seen him at all.
Yeah. I think he's been on the shelf for a little bit, yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just me. It's just like...
Why was almost in it?
I mean, you need your big guy. You need your big freak.
Okay, you had Bronson Reed in there.
I'm saying you need your big giant.
That's not necessary.
You need your big giant for the announcers to go like, "Oh, how's anyone gonna eliminate?"
Ivar was in it.
I said giant.
No, I'm saying like big guy. Like I get it. Yeah, almost freaky. He's so over 7 feet tall. I get it. Like I get why he was in it. But like, I'll put it to you this way: I'd rather have Ricochet than Damian Priest. Damian Priest, a fucking money bank holder.
Yeah.
That's kind of. I'd rather have Ricochet than Damian Priest. Like, it's like, okay, let's say in kayfabe wise, Damian Priest wins the Royal Rumble and he has Money in the Bank. Like, oh, jeez, like,
you know what they should have done? They should have done like a Royal Rumble qualifying match with Damian Priest and whoever, and then R-Truth cost him the match.
That I would have been fine with that. Like
R-Truth thinks he's trying to help Damian Priest and fucks him over.
But and you know I gotta question logic. If Damian Priest is in a Royal Rumble qualifier match, how come where is everyone else to qualify? They just qualify?
I mean, you could have done like a battle royal, and like the final two are gonna have a match later.
Okay, but how does the other 29 competitors get a Royal Rumble spot then? How like is that being determined by matches or what? Like why is a battle royal happening in the first place? Because A, we're about to see another version of a battle royal a couple weeks after, and also B, why does Damian Priest have to qualify for the Royal Rumble when everyone else didn't need to qualify?
Okay, here's what you could have done on Monday with the match with Drew and Damian, where they're just talking shit, and Drew's like, if I beat you, then you have to give up your Royal Rumble spot.
That's fine, and that I can deal with. You know what I mean? But
and then vice versa, and then during the match, that's when Truth comes out and fucks over Damian inadvertently.
All right, but so. And I get what you're saying. Maybe you could put other guys in there. I'm just making the argument. Say, why does Damian Priest need to be in it? Right? Why did Carlito need to be in it? Or
No, I get you, because I heard other people saying the same thing about Damian, where it's just like, he's a Money in the Bank holder and he's in a Rumble match, like, because he can win and just say, I'll cash in tonight, or he can still lose like he did and say, I'm still going to cash in. So it kind of creates a red herring. But speaking of Drew McIntyre, he was number 29, and then 30, which I was kind of worried about. It ended up being Sami Zayn, which I'm like, all right, Sami's here, not The Rock, so cool.
Yeah, as soon as Ricochet came out there at 28, I was like, okay, it's just ruined Sami that stuff, because I knew Sami was going to be in it, and obviously Drew McIntyre. So once Ricochet came out there, man, I was like, okay, we're home free pretty much.
The final four, I think you and me both had our final four predicted. I don't know or maybe it's just one or the other, but. Ended up being Cody, Punk, Gunther, and Drew.
Yeah. I think I had The Rock in there, but yeah.
If The Rock did show up.
Yeah, The Rock over Drew, yeah.
But, so Cody eliminated Gunther like he did last year. During the match, maybe we'll get to the Punk thing after the match. So, Drew gets in Punk's face and says, "Your ass belongs to me." And then, Punk throws him out, and then it comes down to Punk and Cody. And they essentially had like a 5-7 minute match, which was, fun to watch, because they basically told us what was going to happen on Monday with the promo between Cody and Punk. And there was a spot in it where Cody, said out, or not Cody, but Punk, said out loud, I didn't come back here, 10 years later, lose to Dusty's kid. Which that kind of said, okay, we know who's winning it. And then, Cody throws his ass out. Cody's, back-to-back Rumble winner. He gets on the turnbuckle, points to Roman. You can hear him say, Roman Reigns, I choose you. Almost like he's in Mortal Kombat. And then Roman's just there like, what the fuck? And then you see a dejected CM Punk on the sideline. So, again, we both agree the women's was the better one. Both of them were safe, but I think the women's was probably better because it seemed a little. it was predictable, but a little unpredictable at times because it seemed like it could have gone both ways. But with this, it's just like, yeah, Cody was going to win. And after the match, during the match actually, so there's a spot with Drew and Punk where Drew goes for a future shock DDT on Punk. Afterwards, you see Punk, hold his arm, where his triceps are, and to his credit, worked the rest of the match. Comes out that Punk ended up tearing his triceps during the match after that spot. Let me pull it up right here. So, this is on Fan Nation. So, tore his triceps, and the very next night on Raw, I guess we can kind of skip to Raw a little bit, came out on Raw and had his arm in a sling, and then talked about his triceps and pretty much just said WrestleMania this year is in the cards for me, but there's always next year. Really good promo. Cut a very good promo. Very emotional.
It was the most unscripted real promo they've had so far back in WWE.
Exactly. Told a story about a friend of his named Chad, who turns out to be an actual person. Our friend Kevin Castle actually does know. Yeah. Our friend Kevin Castle actually does know this person named Chad Gilbert, who's actually in a band called Newfound Glory. And, real person, does have cancer, has a family, and, Punk is telling the story about how he knows this guy named Chad, that, he has a family, and I see him and I'll spend time with him while he's getting, what do you call it? Chemo, there you go. Chemotherapy. And just real tears in Punk's eyes. And, I was getting choked up a little bit too, because, the whole point of Punk's promo is I don't feel sorry for myself because there's people that have it worse than me and don't feel sorry for me. Kind of cutting a Dusty promo, coincidentally, where it's just like there's, there's mail delivery men, there's people working in electrician fields and teachers and firefighters and blah, blah, blah. And just says, I will be back next year. Stronger than ever, essentially. And then Drew McIntyre comes out and just, says, I felt sorry for you. Your story really hit home, but I prayed for this to happen. I couldn't sleep after Saturday, but after I heard the news about your triceps, I slept like a freaking baby. And then, Punk says, once I'm healed and when I come back, before I go to Mania, the first thing I'm going to do is knock you on your ass. And then Drew McIntyre goes for a swing. Punk takes off the sling and fights Drew. Drew headbutts him, and then Drew goes for the torn triceps. Sami Zayn comes out to make the save, and then Drew, makes that meme, where he's just like, he's cradled at the end of the apron. And he's just looking at. He's basically just looking at his work, at his fine work. So, if he wasn't a heel already, he's a heel now. So, Drew just doing his best work as a heel. This obviously does kind of throw in a monkey wrench for Mania plans, mainly for the Seth match, because it kind of looked like it was going to be Seth and Punk. Now it's not. Which
Mania is fucked, with the exception of the two women's matches and Roman versus Cody. Mania's fucked, man. And I mean, like, it's gonna be a bad show, but I'm talking about like the booking, like how they're gonna get to certain things, because there's a lot of combinations that they can go into right now.
Right, because like I don't know how you feel about this. So like, I know the idea could be Gunther and Seth. I'm fine with fucking Drew and Seth.
Yeah, Drew and Seth's fine. That's fine, and I think that's probably where they're gonna go. What they're gonna end up doing, but you gotta think about it like this too. And the reason why I'm saying I think everything's fucked, I think that's what's end up gonna be happening. Drew versus Seth. Mm-hmm. I would not rule out, however, Seth dropping the title before Mania. And what I mean by that is that the only reason why Seth didn't elect to get surgery is because he wanted to face against Punk. Now Punk's injured too. And another reason too is because Seth never got his WrestleMania main event. Ever. Never got a WrestleMania main event ever. So if they do Seth versus Drew, unless if this particular feud becomes super hot, which it can, because you got two very credible workers that can make it happen. I don't foresee this main event night one. I foresee it to be Becky versus Rhea if they go in that direction. I foresee that being the main event of night one if that does happen. So what do you do at this point with Seth? Do you take the tie off of him because you know that he's not going to be main eventing anyway, and that's the only reason why he wanted to stay around in the first place is to main event, and not even just a main event, but against CM Punk? So there's a lot of unanswered questions. So at the end, I think it may end up being Drew versus Seth. I just don't know if it's going to main event. And if it's not going to main event, I think Seth may question like, hey, well, I think I want to go get surgery. I think I want to go get this taken care of. You put this title on whoever else. And who they put the title on, I don't know. It could be Gunther. Gunther versus Drew would be a great match, but there's no true babyface or heel in that match either. Drew solidified himself as a heel. Gunther's not a babyface. So, could you do a triple threat with someone else? Possibly. But again, it'll just feel convoluted, and I don't really think it would. It won't feel like a true world title match at that point. So,
right. I mean, what you could do, which more than likely will be Drew versus Seth, and Seth should drop the title to Drew, and Seth should get the surgery after. What you can do before that is just have Drew beat the ever living shit out of Seth, like work on that injury, like he did with Punk. Because he's already like doing it on Twitter, like he's already making these memes about, shitting on Punk and saying, I put Punk out of action. He even put out a TikTok video of him working out saying, we're going to work on our traps today. Wink, wink. And, he's having fun with this. And this is, the best Drew we've seen in a while. Like, he actually has personality. He's committed. So that can be his thing of, I'm taking out everybody. I'm taking out all your favorites. Because you never believed in me. You kept calling me a whiner and a bitch after I told you about Jay and the bloodline. Now what I'm going to do is, since all my happiness was taken from me, I'm going to take away your happiness from you. I'm taking away all your favorites. I already took away Punk. Now I'm going to take away Seth. Like, do that. Really add some more heat to Drew. Because, again, he's doing the best work of his life. With Gunther, I don't know how you feel about this, but, like, just based off of, what happened, especially with, Imperium going after the New Day, like, you can do Gunther and Big E at Mania.
Is Big E is he cleared to return? Is he be coming back?
I actually have a quote from him. So, Big E is actually putting out a movie pretty soon. It's like a short film, but he put, it's just kind of playing things by ear. I feel great, and I just want to continue feeling good. When I think about the damage I've done on my body over the years, I just want to be smart. And, yeah, that's pretty much what he said. Like, it's basically just been like, he wants to play it smart and not just come back for the sake of coming back. So, I don't know what's going to happen. But from the way it looks, this is just my opinion. Like, from the feud with the New Day, I think Big E is going to play a role in it somehow. That's just
right. But I don't know. I don't know if he'll be in the ring. Now, this is what I think, too. And I forgot to mention this, too. Another reason why all this is convoluted with the Seth situation, Damian Priest, is he going to cash in? This is what I think, too. If they're not going to do, let's say Seth drops the title before WrestleMania, they can do, and I've said this, but I didn't think this will happen. This only probably happened due to injury. But Damian Priest may be in a world title match at WrestleMania, and he may be the world champion against Drew McIntyre. Or they could do a triple threat. They could have Damian Priest as the babyface, Drew as the heel, and a Finn Balor as a triple threat after Damian Priest gets kicked out of Judgment Day. So there's that too that people are not really focusing on too as well, is that Damian Priest still has money in the bank, and that can be certainly involved here, going into WrestleMania 2 as well. So, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of different options that they can go in. Unfortunately, it's due to, due to certain circumstances, but this is very unpredictable. But whatever it is, I don't see it main eventing night one. Because to me, unless like I said, Drew makes like, Drew and Seth, they have like this legendary back and forth, promo battles, and it has to main event night one. But I think Becky and Rhea will probably, end up main eventing night one, because remember, the women got shafted last year, and deservedly so, because the Bloodline storyline last year was everything for 39. So, but this year, Bloodline ain't everything. Bloodline is just one piece of the story. And it's not even the Bloodline, it's just Roman and Cody. Unless The Rock gets involved. The Rock gets involved, then all bets are off. So, but yeah, this Mania is going to be very unpredictable, and I don't know where it's going, so that's good. But also, as well, it's kind of like, damn, man, like, it should have just been Seth and Punk. But, is what it is. Maybe we'll get SummerSlam. You know what I mean? So, or maybe we get next year's WrestleMania, I don't know, but it seems like for Punk, it seems like, he's going to have a story to finish, for WrestleMania 41, hopefully.
Hopefully. Speaking of Cody, Cody came out later to cut a promo about, winning the Rumble, getting emotional, saying, I needed you, and you guys are there for me. Thank you. And he was about to talk about his WrestleMania plans, and then Seth Rollins came out and, cut a promo basically trying to say, hey, choose me and not Roman. I've made this title relevant. No one cares about Roman anymore. No one's afraid of Roman. If you choose me, you'd go after the Dusty title. You go after the title your dad chose, that Harley Race and Ric Flair chose. Would you want that, or the fake Hollywood, title from a champion that barely shows up, every other month? Just so think about it. So again, I mean, we know Cody's going to choose Roman, but what they're doing is that they don't want to make it seem too obvious, especially to, casuals and people.
He made a great case for it, Seth Rollins. I loved the promo on Monday. I thought the promo was fantastic. Now, what he said, this title is bigger than. No, it's not. It's not bigger. It's a consolation prize. It's a consolation prize. But I really appreciate the effort. I appreciate the effort that Seth did. I thought the promo was fantastic. I thought they had a fantastic back and forth. And having Cody say, "Hey, I think about it," to drag this on out. There's actually people on Twitter saying, "Oh my God, is Cody really gonna choose Seth?" What,
No.
are y'all fucking like? Have y'all just started watching wrestling like a month ago? Like, come on, let's get up the program. All right. Seth and Cody is not happening. Why? So Cody can beat Seth for the fourth time in a row. How come he didn't bring that up? That would have made it a little bit more interesting. Be like, hey, I haven't beaten you yet.
Right. That's one thing I didn't understand is, like, in storyline fashion, Cody's already beaten him 3 times. Why would Cody want to face him again? And also, Cody's whole thing is, my dad never won the WWE title. I want to win the title that my dad couldn't win. Not a title that was just created last year. That's, again, a consolation prize. And I didn't like the promo as much as you did, because I think in all actuality, Seth kind of exposed the fact that that title was basically just a consolation prize. And
he doesn't think so, but
right. Again, I actually like Seth. He
made a good point. I honestly think he made a good point to it.
Right.
But again, at the end of the day, we know that Cody ain't gonna be picking fucking Seth.
They just want to hype up Mania. They want to, make people guess. But again, it's just like you said. The people on Twitter, people who I usually respect their opinions, are like, is this a way to get Rock and Roman? I'm like, no, it's not. Shut up. Stop with the Rock and Roman stuff. It's not going to happen this year. Shut up. Like, I saw Bill Apter, who I love Bill Apter, but he was like, that was a good promo. Is this a way to get the Rock and Roman at Mania and then have Cody? And no, it's not. Stop, Bill. Please stop. Bill, please just get away. Get away from the internet.
Yeah, like you've been in the business for so long. You're way smarter than that to even think that.
Right. Just again, I get angry at people that still are with the idea it's gonna be The Rock and Roman, or it's gonna be The Rock and Roman and Cody, or it's gonna be Cody and like, no, stop, please. It's Cody and Roman. Stop pretending that you want this match to happen. Stop. Just Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, that promo happened. The rest of Raw was kind of It was okay. It was okay.
A really good show. I thought it was a really good show. I thought.
Right. It wasn't bad, but it's just like, again, I tapped out after the third hour because I still had more cleaning to do in the room. So I did see clips of Drew and Sammy. I thought that was a good match. And then Gunther and Kofi, they didn't disappoint. Kofi can still go, as we all know. And he put up a good match against Gunther. And today, Gunther has officially eclipsed 600 days of being Intercontinental Champion.
There's still people out there saying that Gunther is one of the best Intercontinental Champions of all time. No, he's not one of the best. He is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say one of the best. He is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Like stop it.
Mm-hmm. He has made that title relevant. He has made it mean something. In the history books, Gunther is going to be, like you said, the best Intercontinental Champion of all time. And then pretty soon he's going to maybe be one of the best world champions of all time. Maybe even the best well, maybe not all time, but he's going to be in the top 10. I'll put it that way. He's going to make it mean something.
Man, you guys pass a lot of people up for that, man. When you're saying best world champion of all time, that's just... You're knocking a lot of people off that list, man.
He's got some work to do.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm just saying that's kind of bold. That's all I'm saying.
Rest of the show, like I mentioned, Andrade is now officially on Raw, so it gives him more fresher opponents and time to be his own guy. Braun Breaker allegedly might be on SmackDown. Nick Aldis was taking a phone call and says, "Oh, by the way, it's Braun Breaker, so I gotta go." So might be seeing Braun Breaker this Friday. So we'll see. What else happened on the show that was of relevance? Oh yeah. First match on the show, tag team championships. You had the Judgment Day versus DIY, and a really good tag match. Really good opening of Raw.
First hour commercial free.
First hour was commercial free. DIY again, still a great team. Judgment Day still kind of continuing that illusion of, are we going to break up? Is there problems in the Judgment Day? Is there a mutiny going on? But no, they went out there, had a really good match, won clean. Afterwards, you had JD and Dom come out, and they called out R-Truth. R-Truth doing his usual shtick and saying JD, or he's telling Damian, "You're like an older brother," and Damian's like, "You're older than me, man." And then telling Dom is like that brother that nobody likes, but we all like him anyway, and whatever. And then Damian saying, "Listen, Truth, I've always liked you, which is why I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to have any part in this." And then the rest of Judgment Day just goes out there and beats the shit out of him. So, yeah, just R-Truth officially kicked out of Judgment Day. That got good heel heat from the crowd, who loves R-Truth. But let's see what happened on Raw. So so I guess just talk me through what I missed in that last hour of Raw. Because after the Gunther match,
I don't have the notes up here. I don't have the notes up.
So I missed the Bayley promo. I heard that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. Long story short, Rhea Ripley come out. Nia Jax attacked her from behind. Nia got into the ring and intimidated Bayley, and Bayley who was gonna announce who she was going to go after, or who's gonna challenge at WrestleMania. And she was like, "Oh, I'll announce it on Friday." And they showed Io looking at her title, all scared and worried. So we know it's gonna be Bayley versus Io. They're just dragging it out.
Right. And then the main event, Drew McIntyre versus Sammy. How'd that go?
Great match, great TV match. Drew won.
Sorry, I had to clear my throat. All right, so yeah, I missed a pretty good Raw. So sorry, I had to do a lot of moving. So, but next week I'll be able to pay more attention to the shows. And NXT, like I said, I missed completely because we were going back and forth getting the beds and then throwing out the old beds. But I guess a brief summary of what you thought about NXT last night.
Good show, good go home show for Vengeance Day. They're really dragging out this Carmelo Trick storyline as well. The ending segment where he had all of the intertwinings of the Dusty Cup final with Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin attacking Melo and Trick. Then once they cleared the ring, Trick turned around to look at Ilya. And Carmelo was like, oh, are you with me or are you not with me? Kind of look on his face. So they're going to be dragging that out this Sunday. So, yeah.
I forgot to mention, so last Friday on SmackDown, you had Carmelo Hayes and Austin Theory. They had a decent match. Theory won by holding the tights. Grayson Waller came out to help him beat up Hayes. Trick Williams came out to a pretty big ovation from the crowd, which I don't think people were expecting, and helped Hayes out. The officials in the back are said to be pretty impressed by Williams with the ovation that he got. I was happy too because I like Trick Williams. So I don't know what you thought about that.
Yeah, good for Trick. I mean, he got a good ovation. Got a good pop. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's similar to what you got in NXT. You know, there are more people watching NXT who are more familiar with the product now than ever. So yeah.
Which good.
I thought he was going to be in the Rumble though. I thought he was going to be in the Rumble because I thought they were doing it as a test, and it would have been pretty good to see him come out the Rumble and everyone try and whoop that Trick. So, but that didn't happen. So
right, it's just like no, let's bring in Pat McAfee for a comedy spot. It's like we're treating Pat McAfee like a comedy guy when he used to wrestle and he actually had pretty good matches. So I didn't get that. That was stupid. No, let's not bring in Trick Williams, who just had like one of the biggest pops, or probably the biggest pop of SmackDown the previous night. So I don't fucking know. But let's get into Vengeance Day. Vengeance Day is this Sunday, which is weird. February 4th.
Well, they've been running the pay-per-views on Sundays more often.
Oh yeah, it'll be in Clarksville, Tennessee, at the FNM Bank Arena. And so far, there are 6 matches, which is a lot for an NXT show. But let's get into them. So this match was actually announced on Wednesday, which I did see that clip. No disqualification match, Dijak versus Joe Gacy.
Go with Joe Gacy.
I'm going to go with Dijak. I like what Joe Gacy's doing now. I like that he's a babyface and he's becoming more unpredictable. So, but I'm going with Dijak.
I think I'm going to go with Joe Gacy just because of they're trying to push this new character, Dijak, who has won on pay-per-views, before. But I just think right now, I think they want to try to get this new character over for Joe Gacy, and I think the fans are behind him right now, and it should be a good match. Nevertheless, I expect a great match between these two.
All right. Next is you have a 6-person mixed tag match. You have the family, Tony D'Angelo, Channing Stax Lorenzo, and Adriana Rizzo versus Out the Mud with Jada Parker and Scripps.
I'm going with Out the Mud since this is not for the NXT tag team titles, obviously. Going with Out the Mud because, this will keep them strong. Yes, the family will lose, but I think there'll be like some nefarious means behind it too as well. So they are still tag team champions, but the other team, Out the Mud, they can still win a match here. Then once they have another match for the tag team championships, the family will get their heat back. So I'm going Out the Mud.
Nice. I'm gonna go with them too. Because again, like you said, it's a non-title match. This will be a nice way to really get them over. And then, the next takeover, or maybe the next just NXT show in general, that's a nice way to really build them up as a serious contender for the tag titles. So go with them. Men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals. The winners receive a future NXT Tag Team Championship match. Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, the Wolf Dogs, which I love them together, versus Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams.
I got Melo and Trick here. I think they're going to end up winning this match. Mm-hmm. And I think whatever happens in that tag team title match, I think that's where the climax to the story is going to happen. So right. I think at this point, Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, they don't need this. They don't need to win or whatnot. They don't need to go after the tag team titles, because if they do, they're gonna win. I won't say they're going to win, but you think they will have to win at that point. And Braun Breaker's ready for the main roster, so he has less days on NXT at this point. So I think Melo and Trick is gonna win.
Right. I'm gonna go with them too. Again, just nice way to really add more to the story, and it makes the main event even more interesting because you don't know what's going to happen. It can go either way, which we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, I'm going to go with Trick and Melo gang. NXT Women's Championship, Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez.
Lyra versus Roxanne. This is interesting because of the wild card known as Tatum Paxley. Damn, man. I think Lyra's gonna win. I think they're gonna build up for Lyra Valkyria versus Tatum Paxley at the next pay-per-view. Stand Deliver.
Right.
I think Roxanne may be on her way to the main roster possibly soon. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, same thing. Tatum's going to get involved somehow, and it's going to coincide with Lyra winning. And Roxanne did pretty good at the Rumble, and I think they want to put her on the main roster as soon as possible. So go with Lyra. North American Championship match: Obafemi versus Dragon Lee.
Obafemi. They've been booking him as a monster at this point, heel now, from what it looks like. I want to see more from him. I'm not totally sold on him as of yet. But he's good. He's good. You know what I mean? I just hate how everyone labels people. Oh, future WrestleMania main eventer. Like, not everyone can be a fucking WrestleMania main eventer, people. Like, to be realistic. But I can't see him be a very big asset to the main roster and win, mid-card titles and possibly win a world title, something like that. But I just gotta see more from him. But he's going up against Dragon Lee, so I don't expect this to be a bad match at all. And Oba's gonna look good in this match, so I'm going with Obafemi.
Same. This is gonna be a test for Oba to see if he can work, and he's got someone good in Dragon Lee, but Oba's gonna win. And what's more than likely going to be the main event, you had Ilya Dragunov versus Trick Williams for the NXT Championship.
Well, Ilya's going to win. That's number one. But number two, Melo's going to be involved at the end of this match somehow, some way. It may be inadvertently screw Trick out of the NXT Championship, but I think we're going to see some type of how should I say? I think we're going to see some type of progression with this story here. Not going to be a full turn because remember, Melo and Trick, won the Dusty Cup. So, I think the turn is going to happen after that tag team match, for the NXT Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, so do you think this ending is going to be like Melo gets involved and he kind of inadvertently costs Trick the match?
It comes down the ringside, or maybe they're like backstage, and Mel's like, "Hey, man, I'll watch your back out tonight," and Trick's like, "Oh no, I don't need your help or whatever, right? I gotta do this on my own." Then Mel comes out anyway, and inadvertently costs Trick the match.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So yeah, this is this match is gonna be very predictable, but it's gonna be good.
Yeah, no, it should be good. It should be a good match. I mean, it's fucking Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah, Ilya never has a bad match, and Trick is
never had a bad match since he was like 16 years old. Like,
right, and Trick is really good. So this should, definitely be a match that isn't bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's going to be a predictable match. That's what I'm saying mainly. But that was that's Vengeance Day. It's going to be this Sunday. I might miss some of it because I'm going to a birthday party. So. But I will not miss the whole show. But that was all the shows. As you can imagine, I didn't watch Dynamite, so do you want to maybe give a quick review of Dynamite?
We'll just go into the next thing. Like, I don't got time for Dynamite.
Okay.
We've been on here for almost 2 hours. Like, I don't think no one wants to hear anything about Dynamite tonight.
All right, so let me talk about ratings. So, let's start from last Wednesday. So, Dynamite last week had an 837, and they had a .27 in the...
Was that up?
Hold on, let me check.
Seems like that was up.
837. That's actually down.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because on the 17th, they drew an 891. Last week, they drew an 837. So, it's actually down. Okay. So 0.27 in the demo. Rampage drew a 382 and had a .13. That's actually down from 8,000 viewers. SmackDown from last Friday drew a 2.475. That's actually up from the previous week.
Yeah, all home show. Yeah.
And they drew a .71 in the demo. Collision drew a 300,000.
That's the worst ever for Collision, so that I do know.
Which is actually down from the previous week. They had 441,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's the worst Collision rating ever. I mean, they were going up against the fucking Royal Rumble, so
right. And
so one thing I do want to point out is that God bless these people. God bless people. You like what you like. I get it. I just hate how certain people on Twitter act like certain companies don't exist. Like whenever, like with AEW, right? There's like this AEW. He's not directly AEW. Like he puts out gifts for like Japanese wrestling as well, and AEW. But like he pretends that WWE doesn't exist at all. Like you can search his tweets and like look for anything WWE, you're not gonna find anything WWE. And just be like, and he's like, oh man, oh my god, the best wrestling's tonight. Oh my god, real wrestling. And I sit there, I'm like, come on, man, like you sound like a fucking AEW cocksucker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but also let me flip that back in reverse. There's people out there, same thing for WWE, who pretend that AEW doesn't fucking exist. And it's like, when Jade Cargill came out, I was all like, oh man, Jade, I'm so excited that she's here. But again, at the same time, you never ever give AEW due or credit when they do something well, or when someone comes from over there, like, for example, like when Ricky Starks ends up in WWE, there's gonna be these fake WWE accounts be like, oh my god, Ricky Starks, always like Ricky Starks. For the meantime, the several years that he's been in fucking AEW, you never tweet one thing about Ricky Starks too. So again, I got caught the fake shit because that's just what it is. Just a bunch of fake fucking people on Twitter, thinking that they know what's best or whatever for pro wrestling when at the end of the day they're just basically just tribalistic cunts. So yeah.
All right. And AEW Collision drew a .06 in their demo.
Yeah, which is the lowest. So
Monday Night Raw from this past Monday drew a 1.909, which I believe is up from the previous. It's actually up. It's actually up for
coming off the the Royal Rumble. Usually go home shows and shows after pay-per-views are usually up for the most part.
All right, and they drew a .61 in the demo. NXT from last night had a 648,000, and they drew a .18. Last week they drew a 683, so that's actually down.
Yeah, that's why I was like, ooh, yeah, that's not really a good one there for NXT, but okay.
I'm pretty sure you have more news than me, because I only really have a quote. So we were talking about the Rumble. and Triple H and Cody Rhodes were asked about the Vince stuff. Triple H responded basically saying, I'll go back to what I said before. This is an amazing week for us, and just at this point, I don't even want to get bogged down in the negatives of it. I just want to focus on the positives and where we're going, and we're at the most exciting time of the year for us. Cody was asked about the same question. Was asked about the same thing. I think even before Triple H, or no, after Triple H. He said, as far as TKO, Nick Khan and the board, clearly they took it very seriously and they acted immediately. Looking in the future, I don't know the answer to that. I've been through very dark periods in our industry before. If you're in my position, that's a time when, hey, we got 50,000 people out there. I want to give them something else from this weekend that isn't a terrible situation and terrible news. Obviously, as more news comes out, we'll be seeing it just like you do. So, again,
yeah, it's nothing else that we said earlier. I thought at the end of the day, I thought Cody, he handled the his quote was far more better handled than Triple H, but at the same time, Triple H didn't say anything wrong. Like, what could he fucking say? But there's people saying that Cody did better than Triple H, which I agree with. But it's like, how can you follow up what Cody said too as well? But anyway, like, I digress.
Yeah, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
I mean, Triple H took the Tony Khan route. Tony Khan do he says like, hey, no comment or whatever,
right?
Or he's like, or he kind of briefly goes over it because remember what Tony Khan does? He's like, hey, I don't, hey, that's fine, but hey, let's talk about what we did tonight. Hey, this is our greatest gate of all time. This is our, we sold the most tickets and this, that, and the other. Same thing that Triple H did. Just want to focus on the positives. Can't knock him for that.
I mean, you're right. You're right. But I think the difference between him and Tony was giving a serious response while wearing a goofy hat and sunglasses.
That has nothing to do with that. You cannot. If he would have took those off and said the same thing, what does it matter what he's wearing?
It kind of didn't make things look better. But again, that was last month. We're not gonna talk too much about that. But I don't really have any other news. Do you have any?
I have. I got news. Hold on.
Go for it.
I got. Well, let me get rid of this because we brought this up earlier. It's mostly kind of non-WWE news, but as of today, and it's already the 1st of February in Japan, Kazuchika Okada is a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from Fightful and Fightful Select, AEW has been fairly confident over the last month that they would land Kazuchika Okada to the point where there were tentative plans in place to debut Okada, which would be well over a month from now. AEW, what they consider a substantial offer. Also coming from Fightful Select is showing that WWE sources confirmed that there has been talks between Kazuchika Okada's side and WWE. There have been WWE talent that confirmed over the last few weeks Okada has been in contact with others on the roster to gauge his offers, WWE's approach, and to help weigh in the decision. That's also coming from Fightful Select as well. Barry Bloom, who is Okada's agent, I know that he wants to make him a great deal. Barry Bloom is also Chris Jericho's agent. He's also Will Ospreay's agent. He's also Cody Rhodes' agent. So Barry Bloom knows what the fuck he's doing. He's trying to get this guy some fucking money, which he will.
Mm-hmm.
So the question I will bring to you is that, Okada, officially a free agent. He still has dates for New Japan. So he's not fully done with New Japan because he still has dates for it, but his contract is up. In the next month, we'll say 1 month from now, at the end of February, right? Do you think we'll have a decision on where Okada's going? And if so, where do you think he's going to end up? I know where you want him to go. Yeah, and I want him to go to WWE too. But where do you think he will officially end up landing? You think?
I think he's gonna go wherever is most suitable for him. I know it's a cop-out answer, but it's just.
Well, what do you think is most suitable for him?
I think maybe AEW because, whatchamacallit. So, Ospreay went there because it's easier for him to leave the States and go back to Japan. Right. And, work his dates. With Okada, in Okada's case, he's not working for NJPW anymore. And I think you said he has more dates lined up for other companies.
Yeah, just in February. I think it's maybe the first couple weeks of February. After that, he's done. Right.
So I think for him it's different because I think for him it's he could go to WWE. And I know we've talked about the wife thing ad nauseum, that she's an actress out of Japan, and she doesn't necessarily have to live in Japan to do her job. She can just do voice recordings at home and then just send them to the producer, whatever. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to come to money. And, the Khan family has a lot of money. I think, Shad Khan was, one of the top 10 most richest people in the world. So I think at the end of the day, it's going to be more money. And, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes to AEW. It really wouldn't, because I'm kind of partial to this. But I know it sounds like I'm rambling, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be what's more suitable for him. And I think the wife thing will be a big play into it. And I think at the end of the day, he might end up going to AEW.
I think AEW is possibly most likely, but I'll bring this up too as well. Shinsuke Nakamura, he ended up going to WWE, and this is way before AEW was even a thing too as well. But he felt that if he came to the States, he didn't feel like he should be working the 5-star matches anymore. He just wanted to make his money, be on a good roster, be around good people, and do his surfing, right? Okada, who's 36 years old, I know he wants to be remembered as one of the greats, and despite if you follow his career or not, you can if someone were to tell you that, hey, Kazuchika Okada is probably one of the best in-ring wrestlers I've ever seen. Me and you both seen his ability in the ring and the type of match that he's had. At least for you, at least with Bryan Danielson, you say, okay, well, I may not necessarily put him in my top 10, but I can see where you're coming from, type of thing, right? I think Okada's kind of, in my opinion, I think he may be over the whole 5-star matches and 6-star matches because he did that already. And if he goes to AEW, he's just gonna be facing off against the same people almost. That he has before, which is nothing wrong with it, but it's nothing new. It's nothing fresh from him. He's gonna get his Will Ospreays. He's gonna get the Jay Whites. He's gonna get the Bryan Danielsons again and Kenny Omegas, and that's fine, right? And he has fresh matches there. He has the Swerves. He has the Hangman. Well, he faced off against Hangman too already. So, but WWE, he's not gonna be pressured to pull on those type of matches all the time. And also on top of that as well, you did mention about hey, Will Ospreay may go back to Japan. That's fine, but I'll be honest with you, I don't think this whole Forbidden Door thing, I think that ship is about to sail. And what I mean by that is that AEW has gotten pretty much all of New Japan's big hitters, minus fucking Tanahashi, who's the president of New Japan now, and Naito, and Sonata. Everyone else has been picked and porched already, right? So I really think that this next up and coming Forbidden Door, I think it may be one of the last ones that they may end up doing, possibly. So I think WWE is possibly going to start working this whole Forbidden Door concept, which Triple H kind of made light of in the media scrum, where I think that WWE and TNA may have more of a relationship now, due with the whole Jordan Grace thing. Mm-hmm. I think we may still see some more with that. And Okada went back to TNA recently, and he said that, man, this is awesome. I feel right with TNA. So, I really think that if he, and what I mean by he, Okada, he may still be able to do be able to go with different organizations, because that's one big thing about Okada, like, going from one organization to another, doing what he wants, and also not being pressured to do these 5-star matches all the fucking time and make the money that he makes and be around, because he has friends in AEW. He also has friends in WWE. You got Shinsuke Nakamura, you got AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Prince Devitt, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows. He got friends from New Japan that he has in AEW. And don't forget, like, he also knows Asuka, he knows Kairi, he knows Io. Of course he knows Io. Because they were both named like Wrestlers of the Year when Io was over there in fucking Japan, just like, send the world on fire with our fucking wrestling over there. So yeah, I know it's long-winded with this, but I really think that I wouldn't just count, hey, Okada going to AEW. I think there is a case for him to go to WWE, and I think there is a very liable case, and that Okada's still making his decision. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to WWE. I do think he does it in AEW, to be honest, but I'm just making my case on like why I think WWE can work for Okada. So there you go.
All right.
Anything else on that?
No, I mean, you kind of hit on all points.
Right. Next, this shouldn't be surprising. Coming from Mr. Sean Ross Sapp and Frightful, one source said that it could be a long time before we see Brock Lesnar again, unless something drastic changes. So, not really much of a surprise here with the whole thing that came out about Brock Lesnar, possibly allegedly, right? Allegedly, that he was involved in the lawsuit here. In my opinion, I don't think we'll see Brock Lesnar again. I don't know how you feel about that.
I might agree with you on that one. We've probably seen the last of Brock. Not just for a good while. I think this is probably the last of Brock we'll see ever. And granted, I was using the word allegedly a lot throughout the talk about Vince, but this might just be a way to just get Brock out. Him putting over Cody, I think that's really all you needed from Brock. I know the idea was Brock and Gunther, but I think there's better things we can do for Gunther than have him go against Brock. I don't think Brock is...
I wanted to see that match so bad, though, man.
Right. Yeah, I think everybody wants to see that match. I'm not saying I didn't want to see it, but it's not going to hurt if we don't see it.
Right.
Because Gunther's Gunther. Gunther's going to stay over, because he's fucking Gunther. He's a beast. I mean, Brock is an attraction, but I don't think at this point he's needed because the company is doing so much better. I mean, granted, like you said, WrestleMania booking plans are kind of fucked because now that, Punk is not in it, but it's still going to be a good show regardless. It was still a good show even when Punk didn't come there or didn't come back. So I don't really think Brock is really needed anymore. In not just WWE, but in wrestling in general. Brock's made his money. He's done everything he could. He's put over everybody. He's made great moments. I don't really think he's needed anymore, in my opinion.
All right, moving on here. One thing that a lot of people are not picking up on, and I actually mentioned this to certain people in the shop, and they're like, "What the fuck? Like, really?" I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah, it's true. So hopefully everything's okay. But Kevin Owens worked the Royal Rumble match with Logan Paul with a fractured foot. Owens fractured foot. Yeah, Owens fractured the foot on the 1-5 SmackDown match against Santos Escobar. That's coming from Dave Meltzer and Figure 4 Wrestling Online. So I don't think this is really something that's gonna affect Kevin Owens, because if he hurt this on 1-5. and he just wrestled the Royal Rumble weekend. I think he'll be fine, ready to go for WrestleMania. I don't know I have no idea what Kevin Owens will be doing at WrestleMania. Like, I'm maybe carrying Cross. I'll be okay with that, and have carrying Cross get a big victory at WrestleMania. I just thought about that right now, but that could be a possibility. But not really. I mean, it's news, but it's not really like anything to go in depth of. But yeah. Any comment about that before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, I heard about it already. It's just, everybody's working hurt, and I'm like with you. I'm a little worried about Kevin Owens this year because the past 2 years at Mania he's main evented. This year he's obviously not going to main event, but it's just like, what is he going to do? A possible match against Cross, I wouldn't mind that. Give Cross his Mania moment finally. So, but yeah, I kind of feel the same way as you.
Yep. Okay. And 2 more stories here. PW Insider this time. Mercedes Moné will be back working in pro wrestling by March, and not for WWE. She's planning to visit Japan, and was said visit, so it doesn't mean she will be wrestling as far as what's known, and then is expected to make a bigger return in the U.S. When asked if this meant if she's was AEW bound, it was said that it could be confirmed. When asked if it was TNA bound, was specifically told no. I mean, if you ain't going to TNA, and if WWE's off the table, and you're just visiting Japan just to visit, you're going to AEW. You're going to AEW. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what's the holdup at this point is. I don't know if it's Tony Khan trying to get plans for her. I don't know if it's her trying to get Tony Khan to give a fuck about the women's division, which I don't blame her. Like you're gonna bring me in, please at least give a fuck about the women's division. So I don't know what the holdup is, but if she doesn't want to go back to WWE, that's fine. I'm happy wherever she goes. I just want to see her back in the ring, healthy, and do her thing. I just hope that she makes the right decision for her, a long term in her career. I just don't think that AEW is going to take the women's division seriously. Now, if the women's division was taken seriously, great. Love to see her there, but AEW's women's division is not being taken seriously at all. Outside of Toni Storm right now. Julia Hart, love her to death. I think she's great. That TBS title don't mean shit. Sky Blue's improved. You know what I mean? But, she's not doing anything right now. You know what I mean? Soraya and Ruby Riott and Harley Cameron, they're not doing anything with that storyline. So yeah, just everything right now is just convoluted in AEW, and Mercedes is demanding something from Tony Khan, like, hey, in my contract or whatever, like I want to be guaranteed this, and that. I don't blame her, because otherwise, she's gonna be there on the payroll not doing anything, and I think she wants to do. I think if she's gonna come in, she wants to be on TV and be prominent, which I don't blame her. But I don't know if you have any comments on this here.
I mean, she has a right to want shit in her contract. That's really all I'm gonna say.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Last but not least here, thing here. Well, I got one more thing after this. But from PW Insider, WWE reached out to TNA about Jordan Grace being the Royal Rumble. One WWE source believes that it was a Paul Levesque idea. Of course it is. It's not a Vince idea. The deal came together really quickly as a way for WWE to surprise everyone with the outside of the box idea. It hasn't said if there's any definitive future plans. Grace was absolutely excellent in the Royal Rumble and blew a lot of people in WWE away. That is again coming from PW Insider. So this is not really to talk about Jordan Grace. Well, it is kind of is, because Natty Neidhart on Twitter is saying, like, hey, I can go to your. She basically said, I can go to your place and face you and beat you. And Jordan's like, come on to as well. are we going to start seeing a talent exchange between TNA and WWE more regularly? And what I mean by that is kind of like what we saw here with Jordan Grace. Are we going to see like women like Natty? I won't say like underutilized talent, but like some underutilized talent and veterans go over to TNA. Are we going to see guys like Moose, Josh Alexander, Speedball Mike Bailey, the Chris Bay and Ace Austin? Are we going to see, guys like that come over to WWE or NXT in a challenge exchange? And if so, how do you see that happening? Because I have one idea, but I'll let you go first.
I mean, because didn't NXT used to do a Worlds Collide pay-per-view?
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, you can do that. It's simple. I mean, I wouldn't mind this. I mean, because we kind of speculated on it a few years ago.
Well, I mean, that was our predictions for this year as well. When we did our predictions, we said that, TNA and WWE will work together in a talent exchange, and it happened sooner than I thought because Jordan Grace came over into the fucking Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? It was different last year because the whole Mickie James thing was more as an apology to what happened with her with the whole trash bag thing and having her come out with the TNA title. But Vince didn't want any other TNA stars, but he did this as a favor because, hey, this is Mickie. You know what I mean? Hey, it's totally cool. This was completely out the blue. Jordan Grace has never, ever been part of the WWE of any fashion whatsoever. No. Whatsoever. Ring of Honor, AEW. She was at the very first All In, right? And in that Battle Royal, she's never, ever been part of WWE in some fashion. And she made her debut in the Royal Rumble like a fucking beast in it.
Right. I was impressed. Like, I think... I don't think they'll send their heavy hitters. I don't think you're going to see Roman on Impact or...
No, God, no.
I mean, I can see maybe Seth going to Impact because Seth is very much like he cares about wrestling and he'd want to wrestle someone like Josh Alexander, whatever. But, I mean, can you imagine Rhea and fucking Jordan Grace having a face-off? That would be interesting.
That would be a fucking... But again, I wouldn't want to see that, and I'll tell you why. Because one of the champions has to lose.
Right.
I don't want to see that.
Right.
Now, if you do Jordan Grace versus Bianca, right, and have Jordan Grace pick a win over Bianca, I'm cool. Then if you have Rhea Ripley versus Masha Slamovich, you see what I'm saying? You get where I'm going with that? Someone that doesn't have a title right now, I'm totally cool with it. And there's other women that are in TNA right now. For example, Killer Kelly, very familiar with the WWE system because she was in NXT UK. She was in I think the first or the second Mae Young Classic. So Triple H already knows of her already. So
Braun Breaker on TNA. Braun Breaker versus Moose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want to see that. Not saying it won't be a good match, but you gotta kind of have to put Moose over there.
Or Chad Gable versus Josh Alexander.
My God, that'll be so fucking good. Oh my God, that'll be so good, man. Things like that. I think that'll be great. So, and that's why I was so excited originally for AEW and New Japan to come together because we get to see matches like that. And if WWE and TNA, if they can pull something out like this, man, I think it'll be, man, I think it will do great business. Great business. So I know Scott D'Amore and Triple H, I know they will like to work together, and we'll just have to wait and see on what they come out with. So,
right, exactly.
Right.
That all?
We got one last thing here.
All right.
One last thing here. So out of news, but this came out today. Fightful, they had their awards for 2023. I know we already did this for WrestlePeers, but Fightful is a little bit more popular. This is from the fans. I'm not gonna go over any type of nominations because there's a ton of awards. I'm just gonna go over the winners, rapid fire through it. And if you have any thoughts about any of those, or if you need to repeat them, I can certainly can. But But this is from Fightful, Sean Ross Sapp's website. And they did a 2023 Fight for Award ceremony, or for the 2023 Fight for Award ceremony for the best in wrestling of 2023. So let's go through it real quick.
Right.
Indie Act of the Year was won by Matt Cardona and Steph DeLander, the former Persia Perota.
Okay.
Talent Media of the Year, which is basically like any media as far as like web shows, so kind of like Being the Elite or Up, Down, Down, things like that. It was won by Hey EW with RJ City. I think RJC tries too hard a little bit, but people like it, so if people like it, so be it. Just not my cup of tea. Booker of the Year, I mean that's obvious, Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
Promotion of the Year, WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Announcer of the Year, Michael Cole. I heard a little groan there. Who would you pick?
I don't want to say grown. I was actually surprised by that pick because I wasn't expecting Michael Cole, but I'm happy with it.
If who are you expecting?
Probably, I would have gone with maybe like a Vic Joseph because I think he's been doing some good shit on NXT. But again, it's Sean Ross Sapp. So from Sean Ross Sapp. I was surprised, like you said, it's from the fans, and they picked Michael Cole.
The fans voted. The fans on Fightful voted for this. So,
but I'm happy. I like Michael Cole. So,
Feud of the Year: Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline. Event of the Year: another one. So, what would you pick for Feud of the Year? I mean, at the very beginning of the year, that was the hottest thing in wrestling. I mean,
it was, but it kind of tapered off after a while.
If you, what was your feud of the year last year?
Do we do feud of the year for our?
No, I don't. We didn't do it. No.
Oh shit. I mean, it's definitely up there. After that, it kind of tapered off. That's the thing. I don't really think there were any feuds after that.
There were there.
I mean, there are feuds, but there weren't any like feuds that made you go, "Oh shit."
So this is feud of the year then, right?
Yeah. Okay.
If you could find one, like it's feud of the year.
Tony Khan versus Twitter. That's feud of the year.
Well, I mean, yeah. The CM Punk versus the AEW locker room. That's feud of the year. Okay. Speaking of where everything happened, events of the year was AEW All In, which I necessarily don't agree with, but hey, I didn't even think that was AEW's best pay per view, but hey, it was well done by the fans. Women's best on promos, Toni Storm. Women's in ring wrestler of the year. You're about to throw a fit, Athena. Women's tag team of the year. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, just let it out.
Fuck. Okay, continue. I don't want to go on a rant. It's already about to be midnight.
Women's tag team of the year. Interesting. I don't know if I picked this as my tag team of the year, but sure. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven / Sonya Deville. I don't know if I'll pick that one, but they're good together. But I mean, I will say Kane Carter and Katana Chance. They're miles better.
I'll pick that.
Rookie of the year, another interesting one. Sol Ruka. She was injured like half the year, but whatever.
I like Sol, but no.
Yeah, I like her too, but it's just kind of weird. Gear of the year. This is interesting. Best attire of the year. Zelina Vega WWE Backlash, which was excellent. When she had the Puerto Rican flag and her attire, and it was. I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Men's tag team match of the year: FTR versus Bullet Club Gold on the AEW Collision. That 2 out of 3 falls match. I cannot complain about that. Wrestling news story of the year: Brawl in CM Punk fire from the AEW. That's definitely that took over the wrestling world for like a month. Best individual promo. I thought this promo was good. I just didn't think this was promo of the year. Very good promo though. Very good promo. I very much so like this promo. I don't know if I don't know how you I don't know. We'll see. Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page face to face. The first one when Swerve was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be the first Black AEW World Champion," and
No.
yeah, that promo there. Finisher of the year, Will Ospreay Stormbreaker. I personally like the Hand Blade a bit better, but whatever. Men's in-ring wrestler of the year, Will Ospreay. Storyline of the year, MJF and Adam Cole. Men's overall performer of the year, so everything put together, that is MJF. Women's singles match of the year, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, WrestleMania 39. Women's overall performer of the year is Rhea Ripley. Stable/trios of the year, Judgment Day. And last but not least, men's singles match of the year, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, AEW Forbidden Door, which was my match of the year too. So
that was the men's singles match of the year?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Maurice, Triple H is voted Booker of the Year.
Yeah, Booker of the Year. So there you go.
So is that all?
That's all I got.
All right, so I'm going to end it with this day in wrestling history. So it is January 31st. We're already about to go into February. 1998. WCW presented a unique event called Boston Brawl. Do you remember Boston Brawl?
Was that a house show?
Broadcast not on pay-per-view, but on PPL, pay per listen. The event took place at the Fleet Center in Boston, Massachusetts, and was main evented by Sting besting Hollywood Hogan in a steel cage match. Yeah, and you said 1998, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like a total house show. You said January 19th? Yeah, that was on a Saturday. 31st.
So, yeah. I'm looking at the calendar right now. That was on a Saturday, so that was more likely just a house show. So, yeah. All right.
Well, it said pay per listen. Also 98.
I mean, that's the fucking internet. I didn't have the internet in 98, so.
Also 98. ECW Hostile City Showdown 98 took place at the ECW Arena in Philadelphia. There were no title matches on the card. The main event saw a four-way dance tag team match in which Rob Van Dam and Sabu defeated the Gangstanators, John Cronus and New Jack, Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman, and the Dudley Boys. Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman defeated the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon. So, that was that. 1999, Japanese wrestling legend Giant Baba died at the age of 61 in Tokyo after a bout with cancer.
Baba!
2000, and you'll obviously remember this one, was the night that Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko showed up at the front row of Monday Night Raw as guests.
Oh, what a moment! It was like the night before, like fucking Benoit won the title from Sid. He's like, I don't give a fuck if I won in time. I'm still fucking leaving.
Nice. And then as guests of Mick Foley, and then later on they came in to do a run-in on I know it was Billy Gunn and Road Dogg versus Al Snow and Steve Blackman, which also during that run-in, Eddie Guerrero goes for a frog splash and dislocates his elbow. So that happened. A great moment, by the way. I remember that. 2010. I don't have all moments. They just kind of have like certain moments. But 2010, the Royal Rumble took place at Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. The Rumble itself was won by Edge, who made a surprise return from a 5-month injury and absence, and he had a 7-minute 19-second appearance, which is the shortest any Rumble winner had spent in a match. Another noteworthy happening on the show was Christian successfully defending the ECW Championship against Ezekiel Jackson. This was the last time the title was contested on pay-per-view, as the ECW brand was shut down the following month. 2015, at the SSE Wembley Arena in London, England, Kurt Angle made Bobby Lashley tap out to win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And then 2 more. 2016, at an Impact Wrestling taping at Barclay Card Arena in Birmingham, England, Beer Money, James Storm and Bobby Roode captured the TNA World Tag Team Championships from the Wolves, Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards. In the main event of the tapings, Bobby Lashley defeated Kurt Angle in Angle's last match with TNA after just short of a decade with the company. And then in 2020, on an episode of Friday Night SmackDown from the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Braun Strowman defeated Shinsuke Nakamura to win the Intercontinental Championship. One of very few championships Braun won. And birthdays. It is Giant Gonzalez's birthday, Brian Crush Adams, and Fit Finlay. So,
All right.
that is this day in wrestling history. Those are notable events. So, that is the show. We did 2 hours and 15 minutes. We are done. As always, I want to thank my man, Mr. Justin, here tonight for his contributions to this show and to wrestling in general. And also, he has a store. It's called Spinebuster Tees. Why don't you tell the people about Spinebuster Tees, Justin?
SpinebusterTees.com. Check it out. Got the winter sale going on right now, 10% off. If you spend over, if you spend over $40, you do get free shipping. Over 20 designs on the website. Check it out. If you're in the San Antonio area, come out to the store. Hundreds of action figures, a lot of Funko Pops, trading cards, autograph 8x10s, guides, vintage magazines. I'm working on getting more DVDs, lucha masks, obviously t-shirts and socks, and just everything for a wrestling fan's dream, all wrestling themed. So Spinebuster Tees, SpinebusterTees.com as well.
Nice. And then, you know where to find me. Podcasts is everywhere where podcasts are distributed. iTunes. Google Podcasts are not going to be a thing until April. But yeah, iTunes, YouTube.
Well, you know they're getting rid of Google Podcasts, right?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, I thought you said that Google Podcasts, that you're not going to have Google Podcasts until April. I was like, Google Podcasts is going away.
Well, okay, I meant to say in April it's gone.
I know, I misunderstood. That's my bad.
Oh, no, it's fine. And then Spotify, of course, pretty much everywhere the podcasts are put out. And saying Apple is going through another transition this year. So, there's another monopoly in podcasting, or just an entertainment.
Well, not to be off topic here, but Twitch is going through some shit right now, right?
What happened with Twitch?
They're going through some financial shit right now. A lot of internal corporate shit's happening. Do you know what Pokimane is?
Pokimane?
Yeah.
It sounds familiar. What is it?
Well, that means she. She's like one of the biggest Twitch. Was one of the biggest Twitch streamers. She's quitting Twitch, so there's just a lot going on with Twitch right now. So it could be a possibility that Twitch may be going through some rough shit in 2024. So,
which sucks because there's people that I like watching on Twitch. Not so much as like gamers, just like they actually have shows on Twitch. Because Twitch is less, they're less of a hassle than YouTube. They kind of let you. They're a little bit more lenient with certain shit on Twitch.
No, they're not.
No.
If you're a fucking woman, you get away with anything. But if you're a guy, if you like if you have your shirt off or something like that, let's say you're you're modeling something, you get fucking banned. You get fucking banned, It
depends if you make money. If you make money for Twitch, or if you make Twitch money, then you kind of get away with a little bit.
No, that's not true either, because there was a lot of different Twitch, I don't know if you know who Gideon is. Gideon got fucking, banned from Twitch, and Gideon is one of the most popular YouTubers in the fucking world, so.
What about Mr. Beast?
Well, he doesn't do anything stupid on there. He doesn't do anything illegal.
Right. I don't know. Double Toasted, they kind of... they're not really a video game channel. They just host a variety channel, just talking about like pop culture and news and movies and TV shows, and they don't really do anything risque, but they'll like swear on the show. And
I'm talking about you're talking about like tame shit. There's like women on Twitch.
Yeah,
like,
I know, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like no.
Like you have like porn stars on there that like cosplay as like your favorite anime, and they just have their titties out essentially. They're like, I'm playing this game. This game is hard. Will someone teach me how to play this game? And it's like, look where all this money is going to. But
anyway, like I'll say this about so Twitch is, I don't think is going to be in a good position the next this time next year. We'll see. But right now is really is YouTube. I mean, you do got Kick as well. Kick is doing well for now, but we'll see how that lasts. But man, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Which one of them is like very much like the right wing like streaming platform?
I think it's Rumble.
Yeah, I keep hearing Rumble. Keith is saying Rumble. Not Mish is saying Rumble. Yeah, that's what I hear. Is that they're very much like right wingers and.
I don't know, man.
Which, whatever. But sucks for Twitch. But yeah, you can say N-words and everything awful on there. Terrific. But yeah, it does suck for Twitch because I use Twitch when I can.
The only thing I use Twitch for, I don't even use Twitch, man. I just watch people on fucking YouTube, man. Cause I'll just watch like Twitch clips on YouTube. I don't watch full. The only people I'll probably watch on Twitch now is probably just fucking Mason Mansoor because they're fucking hilarious. So sometimes I'll watch their live streams on there, but outside of that, like I don't watch anyone on fucking Twitch.
Right. I mean, the only one I watch is Double Toasted, and that's it.
I don't even know who the hell that is. So
they're really funny. They're based out of Texas. They're from Austin. They've actually been around since the 90s.
Oh, great.
No, they're really good. I'm telling you, they're really funny. They're really funny guys. If you want,
yeah, I've heard that before about people from Austin. Boston's game bad as Houston. I'm telling you.
I don't know. Again, I'm fans of them. I like them. So, anyways, going back to plugs. Corey was he was an artist on Space Jam. He did a few other things. He's well known. But going back to plugs. So Patreon is just $5 a month. We're doing our darndest to get more content out. So me and Ruben, we're getting our show Culture Attack out every other Monday. We've been talking about maybe taking it mainstream, but those are just talks. So we have a show coming up this Monday. Me and RJ have already done 2 shows this past week for Savage Nerds, and we're doing that every other Wednesday. And we just did one today, so look out for that. We're just talking about little wrestling talk and also some comic book and Marvel and DC talk. So give that a listen. And then me and Littman, we do our show monthly. And you talk to him about that. So it's only $5 a month, people. And really, that's really about it. Shout out to everybody who shows up to the show and who supports us, leaves comments, subscribes, donates, shows us some love. And we'll be back here next week, same time, same channel. And I just remembered that Valentine's Day is on a Wednesday, so we'll talk off air about that. So, but anyways, guys, I hope you have a good week. I hope you are staying safe and are staying out of trouble. And we'll see you guys next week, same time, same channel. And what else can I say but peace out.
Peace.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.